Raise a glass, let the worries slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. There's Troy laughing with his gin and a grin, telling stories about where he's been. Boomer's got whiskey, he's loosening his tie, chasing dreams under a midday sky. The bartender knows us, he's mixing with flair. Every sip's a moment we're happy to share. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worries slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. The clock don't matter, we're lost in the vibe. Jazz in the air, feel the soul come alive. From martinis to bourbon, we're riding the wave. Stealing this hour, it's the freedom we crave. Sun's still shining, but we're in our zone. This bar's our shelter, our temporary home. One more round before the world calls us back. Savor the moment, keep the blues in the rack. We'll laugh and we'll toast till the afternoon fades. Memories made in these liquid escapades. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worries slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun. Our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon. Chasing that jazz under the high noon.
Salute and welcome. Happy Tuesday to you all. Today is the day we focus on you and your thoughts. And today, I don't know if this is special or how excited you'd be, but I do have an unboxing. I just before I went live, Netter said, I got the mail and you got something from the Nacelle company. She's like, did you order something? I'm like, yes, I did. About a year and a half ago. And I don't remember what the hell it was. It's been so long. I'm already not real happy with the Nacelle company. Yes, it was a pre-order, but I had no idea it was going to be so long. And don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. Welcome. I hope you guys are all doing well. And on Tuesdays, we focus on your thoughts. The chat determines what direction the conversation is going to go. I mean, really, the chat can determine what direction the conversation goes any show, even when I have a plan. You know, the best laid plans of mice and men and this dingbat are easily swayed. I have a very, very short attention span, so it's very easy for you to get me off topic. So let me start by saying hi to each and every single one of you individually, starting with the very first comment that we see here from Big Al of Big Al Presents. Happy Tuesday, Liquid Lunchers. Have a great show, Troy. Craving shepherd's pie, in case you didn't know. Yes. Yes. So Max Miller of Tasting History releases a new show every Tuesday just before I go live. So I did have a chance to watch that. I never had shepherd's pie before I received a recipe from this lovely lady, Connie Cleary, who sent me this recipe for the holidays, which I used to. We basically used it to use up all of our turkey and potatoes that were left over from Thanksgiving dinner. So Max Miller talks about the debate over whether it should be lamb or beef, and pointed out that really it could be any meat, including rabbit or chicken, even. So, yeah, I would suppose a turkey shepherd's pie would be perfectly reasonable. Um, uh, but yeah, we may end up talking a little bit more about that. But I went ahead and I linked the video below and tagged the Tasting History channel so that you could go and subscribe to them if you so choose. If you are interested in, where foods came from and the evolution of different dishes that we eat today, or what they ate in certain historic periods, it's definitely a great channel to check out. Netter's Network calls me the love of her life, and she's not feeling too well today. So I think she is wrapping up her workday early today. But she does ask all of you to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, become a member, gift a membership, do all the clicky things, is what she's basically saying. There's Corey of Wilkie's Movies and Music. Hope you are doing well. Speaking of movies, the members last night watched the original Evil Dead. If I play the promos tonight, I did not take out the promo for the members stream, so that might be a little confusing since it already happened. Members actually can go and vote in a poll that I have up for next week. There are three suggestions that were made. One was the sequel, Evil Dead 2. That's a logical one. The other one was, well, it was actually my own suggestion, National Lampoon's Vacation, since Netter and I, the day after members night next Monday, we will actually be getting in a car and driving cross country to an amusement park, which is, of course, the premise of National Lampoon's Vacation. And the third was a movie with Val Kilmer called The Spartan, which I've never seen before and very, very interested in. Let's see here. I haven't had shepherd's pie in forever. Yep. There you go. There you go. And did I see, someone said hi to Samuel Proctor, but I'm not seeing his comment here. Oh, here it is. Dang, he's the one who said I haven't had shepherd's pie in a long time. I thought I was pulling up Connie. The blues and yellows kind of look very similar from a distance of your icons. That's why I got a little confused. And apparently, Wilkie's Movies and Music will be doing a collaboration. I'm trying to be all funny and formal with it, with Big Al Presents on Friday, doing a watch party for presumably Friday the 13th. The new beginning, I forget the number. Those all kind of run together in my head a little bit. But there we go. There we go. I think I'm caught up with the comments, and I want to get this box out of here. So let's go ahead and open it up. The other thing, too, is the box has no markings on it. There was one side that had labels on it, and the labels were barely stuck to it. I literally was able to peel those labels off. And Netter will be able to reuse this box, I assume, if she wants to, without too much fuss, because it's now a fairly clean box. And I have no coordination whatsoever. The nacelle company, obviously named for the thrusters or whatever you'd call it on Federation ship. Packing stuff. Okay, what is this? What is this? Starting with the box is branded with the nacelle company details. Mother. Well, you can't say they didn't pack it well. Aha! So this is the Klingon female from Star Trek 3. Her role is very brief as she dies honorably because she unfortunately had information about the Genesis device. She comes packed with the Genesis device. And of course, why do I have it? Because Klingon. So this was the first figure that I had ordered from. There's actually another. I don't know. This is a separately packaged dealio, so I got to see what this is. This might be another one that I was expecting. This one is actually for Netter. This is Jonathan Archer in the Mirror Universe episode in A Mirror Darkly. I got this because she had collected all of the Art Asylum figures. This is roughly the same scale. Actually, I think they're exactly the same scale. And I have the entire bridge set for the Enterprise NX-01. So, although we have the one, Mirror Universe, if they do any others, I'll get those. But I could do some customizing too, I suppose. But yeah, so it's about time. These are all from the first wave. I have another one that's been on order for about a year now. That who knows? Maybe I'll get that next year. Not real happy with the speed at which these things come out from the nacelle company. On the other hand, I don't usually speak highly of the Disney company, but the Disney store, no, it's not called the Disney store now. Shop Disney, I believe it's called, has an exclusive line of Star Wars action figures that are coming out on a monthly basis. Limited edition, so you have to order them like right away or they sell out. And it's a series of droids, and I've gotten the first two, and I just ordered the third one last Friday. Sold out now, but it went on sale Friday late morning. It was. Thank you, Netter, for helping me with that because I had actually forgotten it had gone. It had been on the not pre-orders, but the it went on sale on the website. And it had been on for 20 minutes, and I'm like, oh crap. And I wasn't near my computer, and I said, Netter, could you order this real quick? She got it for me. I don't think these figures are in huge demand, but they do sell out fairly quickly. So I actually had some time. They don't sell out instantly, but I'm sorry, I'm babbling. The point I was getting at with this Disney store is that these are not pre-orders. You're literally ordering something. It goes on sale. They take your order. They ship it that day. I'm hoping to have it by the end of the week, probably this Friday, because I'm hoping that it won't arrive after we've left on Tuesday next week. And sits out on my porch, so we will see. And Big Al says 6. Did I miss something? Did I ask you guys to count something, or I didn't know how many of something there was? Speaking of shepherds, I just found out that my grandpa was also a shepherd as a teenager. He would sometimes bring the sheep to the area, uh, what's now my hometown, when it was empty. Oh, that's very interesting. There was a cave he slept in there with the sheep that's now been bulldozed. Gotcha. Welcome, Wallace Lang. I'm sorry that I am a little bit late getting here. That's perfectly fine. Glad you are here in any case. And there's Penny. Good to see you. Giving a hug. Thank you so much. That's very encouraging. Oh, your granddaughter can climb out of her playpen. She is running me ragged. Well, that is awesome. Keeps you young and spry. Keep up with the grandkids. And did I see Jonathan Conroy? I'm sure. There you are. I didn't say hi to you. Wanted to make sure I did. Part 6 is the new beginning. There you go. Yeah, just when you have the evil villain, you finally killed him. Let's go poke at him with a metal stick so that he can get hit by electricity and brought back to life. That's just freaking brilliant. That being said, we just watched The Evil Dead yesterday, where the story is about demons or whatever possessing dead bodies, which makes me wonder, and I believe that later in the franchise they are referred to as deadites, just to differentiate them from zombies and other kinds of undead creatures. And it makes me wonder, would Jason maybe be a deadite? Could it be the same narrative universe? Don't know. I would imagine so. So again, today is uh, uh, Tuesday, where we ask for your thoughts and what you are thinking about. Obviously, Big Al is thinking about shepherd's pie, and he's got a couple people talking about being a shepherd and shepherding, and shepherd's pie in specific. Um, I'm being very careful because what we're trying to do is use up any consumables in the house that would spoil while we're gone. So we didn't do any major shopping, and we're trying to use up everything that's in the house. So I'm not going to thaw out some meat and make some potatoes right now, but I want to use up what's in the house. But I am kind of salivating thinking about that shepherd's pie. Most of my thoughts the past couple weeks are on the current draft of my story. Looking forward to that, Samuel Proctor. I'd love to hear how that goes. So as I was watching this video from Max Miller, I'm thinking about shepherd's pie, steak and potatoes, right? Very very standard fare, right? You got your protein, you got your starch, bit of fat in there, right? That's a well balanced meal right there. Probably could use a little roughage, maybe have a salad too to kind of move all of that along, but by and large, oh yeah, and technically, Saturday is Pie Day, as it is 3.14 or 314. That's true. So you could probably celebrate that with a shepherd's pie. Of course, I do believe that St. Patrick's Day. Has that passed yet? No, it's this month, isn't it? St. Patrick's Day is another day where people tend to want to have a shepherd's pie. That was another thing that Max Miller mentioned, that corned beef is also in some of the historic recipes for shepherd's pie. So that is a possibility as well. And Conan 3, to be or not to be. Well, check out Midnight's Edge for more information on that. Unfortunately, I have not done so myself. It is in my queue to watch later. Kind of looking forward to that. Just to find out, what's going on with that. Andre is very close to the production on that, or the people that would know the details on the production on that. So be looking forward to see what he has to say about that. Going back to my research for the background of it, late Roman Britain, Adrian's Wall, the old Celtic tribes of Britain, and the incoming Norse and Danish tribes that would become the English. That's some serious British history, or the dawn of modern Britannia. That's very interesting. St. Patrick's is March 17th. March 17th. So it'll be, well, what is today? Today's the 10th. So that means, um, 1 week from today, the day that I leave for Florida. By the way, just to let you guys know, I am currently planning on doing Liquid Lunch next Tuesday, so there will be another Tuesday Thoughts, and then I'm literally, as I close down the stream, turn off my computer, get in the car, start driving. So that is the plan. I bet you there's going to be a lot of either CGI or stuntmen doing the action for Conan. I don't know how much Arnold can do these days. Well, there's nothing that says it has to be Conan himself doing. I mean, it could be, what was, oh, somebody help me out with the title, where he's an old man and he's a king sitting on a throne. I forget what it is. The action could be centered around another character that's being introduced. I don't know. I don't know enough about the Conan lore to know how that goes. Will not spoil it for you. Maybe tomorrow. I'll check out Midnight's Edge in a little bit. King Conan. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. And welcome, Geek Flag with Nate Knows, who does some really good work with AI. Speaking of which, he did a great little a little vignette, not vignette, a little clip of Netter and myself as the Doctor and Companion, a version in the TARDIS to kind of uh, boost the Sunday stream of Doctor Who. And I did see you sent me the then and now pictures of the cabin from the Evil Dead. Basically, the cabin's burnt down, and all that's left is the stone structure that they built for the fireplace. And so there you go. Basically, the cabin in the woods does not exist anymore. This should not come as too big of a surprise to anybody. They say Conan's son will be in the film. That makes sense. He'll probably get most of the action sequences. But there you go. So I'm thinking this week's return of Sherlock Holmes is the Abbey Grange tonight, but you won't be doing Return of Sherlock Holmes next week. That is true. I won't be doing the Return of Holmes next week. What I am trying to do, what I'm planning to do, is in place of streams that I would normally do, I'm going to do a live premiere of just a clip from Geeky Geezers. Usually, I'm way backlogged on them. So if you're not a regular watcher of Geeky Geezers, especially you might find these interesting. So, but I'm trying to keep the seat warm while I'm out this week. I am going to explore the possibility of maybe doing brief live streams while I'm down there. Not sure if I can figure that out. I'm not too technically inclined, but if I can do the StreamYard thing on my phone, not StreamYard, EV Mux on my phone, we'll see. I will try. I'm listening to almost all of Robert E. Howard stories. There are a handful of them when he's king, including the first one, The Phoenix on the Sword, but I don't remember any where he's old. Okay. I think the cabin was burned down to keep the evil from returning. That is apparently what the director said. He claims he did it himself. I think that was just hype. I think that was just something he said because it's a good yarn to spin. But I think in reality, I think that the cabin still was in private hands for a couple of years after that before somebody accidentally burnt it down who was camping nearby. That's the going theory right now. And it was probably someone who had no idea that it had been a filming location of probably one of the best horror films of all time. But that's a shame. It's a real shame. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to go ahead and play the promo. Just kind of ignore the membership stream one. I didn't have time to replace it today, but other than that, everything else is spot on. So I'll be back in 2 minutes 20 seconds, and we'll get back to your thoughts, or maybe something I was thinking myself. So stay right where you're at.
You are watching Liquid Lunch, streaming every weekday at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. Let's sip together. Every Monday night is Members Night at the movies on Last Call. Members enjoy an exclusive watch party just for them, and you can join too for as little as $1.99 a month. This week, 5 friends travel to a cabin in the woods where they unknowingly release flesh-possessing demons. It's the start of a legacy and an opportunity to celebrate Bruce Campbell in the 1981 horror classic Evil Dead. Members, please join us tonight at 9 Central, 10 Eastern. And if you're not a member, please consider it. It really helps support what we do here at Last Call. Thanks. This week on Live from Sparkwood and 21, Ben Horn's brother Jerry arrives in Twin Peaks. Together, they travel to One-Eyed Jack's and meet with the Madam Blackie O'Reilly. Audrey leaves a clue for Cooper, and Deputy Hawk finds a bloody towel near the crime scene. Link to the live off-platform stream of the feature will be pinned.
This week on Last Call presents the return of Sherlock Holmes. Holmes is called to a manor house to investigate the brutal murder of a country lord with a fireplace poker and reconcile the story of his bruised and battered wife with the facts. It's The Abbey Grange this Tuesday at 9 Central, 10 Eastern.
This week on Saturday night at the movies, when Mitch McAfee spots a UFO as big as a battleship, he is regarded as a dangerous crackpot until other incidents and disappearances convince the authorities that the threat is real. Some believe it is a folk legend come to life, but it turns out to be an extraterrestrial giant bird whose disregard for human life and architecture threatens the world. It's the 1957 creature feature, The Giant Claw. On Big Owl Presents Films with Friends, Saturday at 9 Central, 10 Eastern.
We now return to our Liquid Lunch.
Yeah, those promos are a little bit jacked up, so I'll get those fixed. Don't you worry. Obviously, the one that got abbreviated there, that's happening tonight, so that's got to come out anyway. Apologies. We run a real professional operation here, don't we? Of course, a tradition in Hollywood is to demolish exterior sets after the productions are complete. Well, see, I know that a lot of people have get real upset about that because they're like, they would like for these sets to exist forever, and they want them to be able to be reused. They're hoping for a sequel and so on and so forth. The fact is, they can't save all the sets for everything. They just can't. There's not enough space, and especially if it's going to be in the for the example of Ghostbusters, for example, it was what 30 years before we got what's the equivalent of Ghostbusters 3. So I mean, yeah, uh, it just can't be done. So it's an unfortunate reality that they do have to from time to time scrap sets, and the only way you're going to have sets preserved almost indefinitely is if it is such an iconic show that it ends up like in the Smithsonian. Wasn't the living room set from All in the Family preserved at the Smithsonian or something like that? I don't recall. But like even the bridge of the Enterprise was not preserved in any way, shape, or form. I do believe there is a um, uh, no. I don't think even the captain's chair still exists. I don't know. I'll have to check out movies, music, and monsters. Dan Monroe keeps track of all of that stuff. But the only reason we have the original um, Bridge of the Enterprise is because a fan, for a fan film, recreated it quite lovingly. Um, so, I'm not altogether against remakes, but I think Hollywood is focusing on the wrong movies to remake. A stutter remaking established classics. Instead of remaking established classics, they should go back and look over um, old B flick movies. That's a great idea. So this is something I've said many, many times about remakes is there is a justifiable reason to make a remake because if there's a film, right, that was good but could have been a whole lot better, especially if most people don't know about it. Look, one of the things we do here, Big Al, Netter, myself, and a lot of people in this sphere doing watch parties, right? One is just to share movies that we all love, great classics, everybody loves them. Sometimes they're really obscure, movies you never would have seen. Just last Saturday, Netter did Finnegan Begin Again. And Nate actually said, gosh, I never would have watched this movie, if it wasn't, with you guys. And it was a pretty good, entertaining movie. It wasn't the best movie, we don't, but it was nice. It was a nice little dramatic film. So we share that with you. Now, if it was a better story that really could, you'd look at that and go, you know what? Maybe this could be zhuzhed up. It's a little bit dated. We could do some things with it. I'm not talking for modern audiences, right? I'm talking take it out of the 80s and put it into 2026. That's fine. I think slice of life is always kind of timeless, but obviously you want, to see in the background the modern technology and, so on and so forth. But more importantly, I've said that classic sci-fi sometimes can really benefit from a reboot or a remake. I keep holding up Battlestar Galactica as a perfect example of it. Maybe not a perfect example, but a really good example of it. And I would love to see the same thing happen to Buck Rogers. I don't think it's going to happen, but it would be nice if they did. You don't remake something that is so classic and so iconic and everyone knows it. You're not going to be able to improve on it. You're only going to damage it by doing that. That's why the only way you can reboot a classic like that is to make a true sequel. And I keep going back to Ghostbusters Afterlife as the example. If you want to hand it off to the next generation or whatever you want to do, good. And remake those movies with better special effects, bigger budget, and better actors, and better writing. Yeah, you're referring to the B films. I agree, Nate. I'd love to see a new version of the Giant Claw. Yeah, I'm going to be interested to see what this movie is all about. I pieced together the promo and description based on what I read about it. And I just was like, oh God. And then I saw some photos of it. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a movie. Yes, it is true that the Bunker's living room set for All in the Family is in the Smithsonian Institute Museum of American Culture and History. And speaking of which, on Sunday during Geeky Geezers, in fact, you can go check out the stream because everything's linked. We talked about the Brady Bunch house, and we've talked about this over the active history of it. The actual house that was used as the exterior for the Brady Bunch was rehabbed in a very marketing driven kind of I want to say one of those reality TV shows. They got all the original kids that were in the show together, and they worked to help rehab the interiors to make it look like the interiors from the show. You might not realize this, but the exterior and the interior are two completely different things. The interiors were all on a set, and they didn't perfectly match up with the interiors of the house. You couldn't fit the house if you looked at the floor plans, that you saw from the show. They wouldn't actually fit into that exterior shell. So some people had to get a little bit creative. Well, there is a channel on YouTube that does 3D recreations of the interiors of filming set, and one of them is the house of Archie Bunker, like the front, walking in through the front, the seats that they sit in, the dining room, the kitchen, and even the upstairs, and then points out differences sometimes between seasons. So boom, here's what it looked like first season, and then second season they I don't know, added a bedroom or something. I don't remember what it was, but you can go check it out. Her channel is linked in the description of Geeky Geezers from last Sunday. You know what? What's a classic remake? The Cary Grant, Katharine Hepburn movie Holiday. The original was solid, but the newer one added that Grant humor and Hepburn wit to it. Yeah, there you go. Great example. And there's a lot of movies that that are remakes. And the reason it's good that they're remakes is because people may have completely forgotten about the originals. So when you see a movie, I really like that movie. Oh, it was a remake? I didn't know that. A lot of those kinds of things. Sometimes the remake is becomes more of a classic than the original. But you gotta choose your projects. I have ordered the DVD set of the original Battlestar Galactica TV series. Yeah, I never got into that original Battlestar Galactica the way I did with like Buck Rogers. So it came out really like so many things did to kind of capitalize on the whole Star Wars thing at the time. And I said it was an interesting slice of late 70s, early 80s, where big budget, what we would consider to be big budget sci-fi TV series, it was really challenging. It was very difficult to come up with a budget for those sets and props and costumes and all that kind of stuff. So they did something very clever. Battlestar Galactica did this, Buck Rogers did it, and a few others did. They would throw a Hollywood film budget into their pilot and release it in theaters as a major motion picture. So Battlestar Galactica's pilot was released in theaters as Battlestar Galactica. And it gives the impression that they're just releasing a movie. Go see it. It's great. It's going to be a blockbuster. And then it was so successful, we decided to make a TV series out of it. The reality is they're getting all their investment so that they could build the sets, the props, the costumes, and so forth that they're going to use for the next season, 2 seasons, however long the show goes. Stock footage, they get the special effects of the combat, and then they reuse it over and over and over again. The worst probably was V, the series. They had 2 miniseries that had a pretty big budget, and the footage from those got recycled in the series so often that every time you saw Mike Donovan meet up with somebody and he was riding a horse, it always had to be the same horse or look like the same horse. You knew that eventually a visitor skycraft was going to come after him, and he was going to have to, try to get away and fire behind him with the laser gun, and he was going to hit that ship, and it was going to go down behind the hill. It happened like 3-4 times in the span of the season or 2 seasons that the show was on, because it was a scene that was from the miniseries. Anyway, I digress on that. Buck Rogers was the same thing. In fact, we talked about that on the channel before. The movie, which was the pilot, kind of just cuts off with no resolution other than he saved Earth, and it's from whatever the invasion was or whatever, and they're flying back home, and he's just a man out of time, and he's going to have to carve out a new niche for himself in the 25th century. But then when they re-released it the following season on TV, they broke it into a 2-parter, and at the end they tacked on a little hook that gave you the story that they got him an apartment on Earth in New Chicago, and asked him if he would help the Defense Directorate as a kind of James Bondy kind of character. He could do missions that their security forces couldn't, because he was a man out of time. He didn't have he's not in the records. He's like a ghost. He could do this thing, and since he had nothing better to do, he kind of, that's what I'll do. And that's the hook for why he's got adventures going forward after that. But anyway, Troy, you didn't hear Peacock. What is an early preliminary talks of rebooting Buck Rogers? Yeah, we talked about it. Early talks, rebooting, da-da-da-da-da. And the question is, a big part of that question is it really a reboot of that TV series, or are they going back to the original source material? Because there's rights related issues there. And I know that was a bit of a problem. So yeah, I had heard that, but it ain't happening until it's actually happening. The Giant Claw is a special movie. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Merpo! Good to see you, Mark. Glad you're here. Archie Bunker, so spot on about stuff. I remember my parents getting into debates over some episodes. That was the idea behind the show. And it's sad because unfortunately, Carol O'Connor no longer with us. Sadly, I suppose, Rob Reiner not with us either. Gene Stapleton no longer with us, so we can no longer get their commentary. So, I mean, there's a positive side to it, I guess, probably. But I see a lot of people taking things they said previously out of context and making it sound particularly woke, which is kind of sad because there were things about Archie Bunker that were ridiculously racist and ridiculously sexist and very, very ignorant. That was intentional, right? But that sets up stories where every now and again he had a line that was incredibly insightful and incredibly spot on. And that should not be undermined. That was good writing. That was but anyway, I kind of digress. Great social commentary, great use of social commentary, and I've argued just like the original Star Trek. Because it was always woke. It was always woke. No, it wasn't always woke. It was always insightful from a progressive perspective. You could say it was progressive. It wasn't woke. Woke is a leftist tactic of beating you over the head and saying this is right, accept it, accept it, accept it, right? Whereas a progressive show like the original Star Trek, even All in the Family, is we're going to look at these complex social issues. We're going to look at it from both sides and let you decide and realize maybe the other side isn't completely wrong and you're not completely right. But that kind of subtlety doesn't exist in the so-called woke. That's true for almost every sitcom house, that the inside doesn't match the outside, and it's extremely true for the Full House, where they were living in the TARDIS. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. This is something else that's kind of become lost in the context of the idea behind a sitcom. Remember, really up into the 80s, even the 90s, sitcoms were originally they were filmed before studio audiences, right? And during the 70s, you would and I kind of homage that in the opening of Last Call. Such and Such was filmed before a live studio audience. Happy Days was filmed before a live studio audience. So at least in the early seasons, when you'd hear reactions and laughs and stuff like that, that was actually the studio audience. In fact, Marion Ross and Henry Winkler, so Marion Cunningham and the Fonz, when they would have their entrance into a scene, they'd come through a door or whatever, the audience would just go crazy, clapping and cheering. And they would try not to break character, and they would try to pause, because you have to pause when you're doing a live performance, right? But there were times when it was so much, like Marion Ross often would smile and nod and then get back in character and continue the shot. A lot of these shows were blocked and designed as though they were stage productions. You had one camera and the set was left to right, like a scrolling video game. So yeah, that's that's how it was. So what would be a truly three-dimensional house was flattened out and elongated, right? You wouldn't have, if you think about the layout of the implied layout of Archie Bunker's house, you come in on the right, you're in the living room, the stairs, on the right as you come in, the fourth wall to your left, right? You go through, you keep walking, you're in the dining room area. You keep walking and you're in the kitchen, and then you're walking out the back door. That's a long, thin house. And that's not how it's depicted on the outside. It would have been more, like I said, 3 dimensions, but you can't depict that on a stage, or in this case, a sound stage. So yeah, it does kind of become the TARDIS only because they have to squeeze the layouts. Now, the interior of the Piper house, the Hallowell house, Piper, Prue, and the other one. That house was originally, just like some of the sets of Twin Peaks, were originally filmed on location, and then they recreate the sets on a soundstage later on, except for the upstairs. The upstairs doesn't quite match the attic and the bedrooms. The bedrooms are particularly interesting because you have 3 sisters, and they have identical layouts to their bedrooms because it's the same set that they just redress. And that wouldn't fit into the upstairs of that house. And why do I know this so well? Because I rebuilt that house in The Sims. It's decidedly not better than the original, the 90s Sabrina. It's so dang boring compared to the 50s one. 50s? There was a Sabrina. Oh, you mean the movie. I'm sorry. Okay. Harrison Ford was phoning that one in, and everyone's so socially awkward. Yes, I agree with you 100% about that. I think they said as much at the time. I saw a clip of the actual ending of Battlestar Galactica with Baltar being beheaded by the Cylons. They reshot that later, as we see when he is spared and given a battle star, a base star. Yes, exactly right. Just like the European release of the Twin Peaks pilot, which was released in theaters, had a firm ending. They have to change the ending in order for the series to continue to happen. In the original Battlestar Galactica, the producers borrowed computers from the Los Angeles business store that were so expensive that no one could purchase from them. Yeah, exactly. Barney Miller, Fish, Night Court, the original series, were all filmed or taped before a live studio audience. Exactly. I would say the best one for being filmed before a live studio audience is the Carol Burnett Show. Carol Burnett Show did 2 performances of the same show. It's scripted, but that troupe went off script all the time. And they would splice together the different sketches, whichever one they thought was the best of the 2. And there's some really good talk about, breaking character and whatnot. It's the Carol Burnett show is just classic. Just absolutely classic. I used to watch Battlestar Galactica. Apparently my grandpa watched it when it aired and loved it. Yeah. Yeah, you should. Oh, Ice, not Ice like ICE, but I need to watch. Yeah, you should. You absolutely should. It's good stuff. Honeymooners was a live show. I remember Jackie Gleason and company stepped out of character once during a holiday special to wish everyone a happy holiday. Doctor Who did the same thing. We will get to that eventually in our watch parties. But that is literally the end of our time together today. Tonight, we are, speaking of Twin Peaks, we are returning to Twin Peaks with the second or third episode, depending on how you count it, whether you count the pilot as a first episode or not. Followed by the next episode of the return of Sherlock Holmes. And yeah, so I hope you have enjoyed our time together. You stuck it out this long. Looks like there's 14 of you, and I don't think that there are 14 commenters, but you might have some lurkers out there. Hit that like button on the way out. That would be very encouraging to me. Take care of yourselves. Stay hydrated. Drink responsibly, as always. And I will see you all on the next one. Take care.
Goodbye. Hope to see you again real soon.
So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun, our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon, chasing that jazz under the high